Hi, this is Jason Palmisano, founder and CEO of Trinity Fitness. Super blessed to be here with Dino Nowak. He is the founder, president of RENU Health and Fitness. And Dino, thanks for having this conversation.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the fitness world.
Sure. Well, by school, and I went got my engineering degree, and was doing that, and I ran the college gym, and had always been doing personal training, but never thought of making a career out of that. And so, actually, one of my friends at the time was doing some marketing promotions for a company, and it was his job to get artists and entertainers in for like CD signings and book signings, and said, "Hey, I got this artist I'm working with. He's performing tonight. Do you want to go see him?" And I'm like, I never heard of the guy, but I've never been to Albany, so I went to the concert. Long story short, got to go backstage, asked what I did, told him I was a certified personal trainer. And I said, I travel all the time. I get sick. I need some exercises to help keep me in shape. I got a bad back. What's some stuff I can do? So I literally got on the floor and showed him some exercises and gave him some tips. And he said, you should come out to California and be my trainer. And so prior to that, I just been, praying to God, where I just didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I wasn't happy with the profession I had chosen. And so this was, I felt, a door that had opened. And so before I knew it, I was on my way to Los Angeles.
So he was a performer.
Yes.
He has a hurt back. He gets with you, and you help him backstage, and
just gave him some tips and showed him some exercises. Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're his personal trainer in Los Angeles. You up and move across the country.
Yeah, my parents were very supportive and understanding, but they said, hey, you finished your degree, so you could always go back.
Right.
So did it for a week for a trial run, and we hit it off. He enjoyed it, and so I ended up moving to Los Angeles and spent with the intent of being there for a year and make a name for myself and come back to North Carolina. It ended up being eight years later.
Wow.
So wild adventure.
So within that 8 years, the way I understand it, you actually got into the celebrity world of really training celebrities, personal training.
Yeah. Through that, other people I met and things kind of doors opened from there, and I kind of saw work with some people from different shows and Baywatch and other stuff, but
other stuff which we won't mention on this video.
But what I said, and I was actually with one of the artists. I was with one of their photo shoots, and so at the photo shoot, they actually were like using literally like tape to hold back like love handles and stuff, and so that was kind of revealing to me. And then I think we all knew that people like Photoshop, images and stuff like that, but to really see to the extent that it went to, where I saw the person and then I saw the image, and it's like that didn't mesh. And so that really started to impress on me what people who are consumers of that media, little girls who see these magazine covers, and they're trying to emulate those artists, saying I need to look like that to be beautiful and attractive. And so I started really speaking out against that, and that's how I got to the book thing of really working on doing a book where we were taking pictures of like Britney Spears on her CD cover, and then in the magazine here she was at the beach, and like, look guys, this doesn't mesh up, this isn't reality. And so I would speak at churches and try to help people really look at body image issues and where's your identity derived from, and people oftentimes are trying to get in shape and find their identity in that. And so we looked at what are your motivations for change, what are your expectations, and what are the methods, and are the methods glorifying to God? And it's not just about the end result, but what's that process you're doing, and understanding you're loved unconditionally where you are right now. And if you can't do that, you're not going to be happy when you lose the weight.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
You had mentioned a book that you had written.
Yeah.
I understand it was quite a process because you went to town. You wrote 1,000 pages, and it had to be edited down to 250 pages.
Yeah.
What's the name of the book?
Sure.
What is it about? And where did it take you?
Sure. So that was in 2005. So it was a book called The Final Makeover. And so I saw there were all these makeover shows going on at the time. I think The Swan and things like that. And so I was really thinking that for this to do something that would give someone the final makeover. And so what that entailed to me, it dealt with first the emotional, spiritual, and then the physical realms. And so understanding first again that issue of identity, and understanding, I went through a lot of different the fads and diets and gimmicks, and I named names, and my publishers were kind of concerned, but everything was backed up and had the documents and the evidence of that, just to really show how people's pain points are often used just to profit off of. And so to do that, I started off with looking at people's worldview. And so I said, do you believe that there's absolute truth or that there's relativism? And so I dealt on that in chapter 1. And then we went through, do you believe that there's a God? And if so, which God? And we went through all the different world religions. So you can see how that would come out to be about a 1,000-page book. So, yeah.
But that really is where you need to begin.
I know. Yeah.
All right, so that's good. That's awesome. And I haven't read many fitness books at all that begin. I don't know that I've read any that begin with, do you believe in absolute truth, and is there a God? And because that's in the beginning, God created, and here we are. And so hats off to you. And then from there, really, you got some recognition for writing that book, correct?
Yeah. So we were on Fitness Magazine, Cooking Light, Women's World, Entertainment Tonight. So it opened a lot of doors. And unfortunately, the book was delayed. So when all the publicity hit, the book wasn't even in store shelves. Amazon wasn't even, I think, that big at that point. So it had some good success, and the reviews were great. It helped the people that did write it. It did help them. The main thing for me always with fitness is giving people first the restoration of hope, and then freedom. And I think that you can look a certain way on the outside, but still being bondage to your body, being bondage to food. I can't eat this, I can't eat that.
Right.
And so first and foremost, I really believe that we're to have freedom. Christ came to give us freedom in this life and the life to come, and that's what it's about. Yeah.
Awesome. So LA for 8 years with the celebs, doing your thing there, making a name for yourself. But then you wound up in, let's fast forward to Nashville.
Okay.
RENU Health and Fitness. You're the founder and the president. And what I love is that you have a niche that, and I've been in the fitness industry for quite a time now, but I haven't heard of this niche yet.
Sure.
That you have, and I'm super excited about it and what you're doing in that niche. Can you share that with us?
Sure. So we were operating in Nashville out of a hospital environment for about 8 years as well. And so we were kind of the bridge between medicine and fitness is one of our taglines. And so we work with physical therapists or physicians. Once someone was discharged, they'd often hand off to us and we take that over. So we kind of noticed that looking around one day, most of our population was 45, 50 plus. And looking at there really wasn't a place at the gym. I mean, they could go to, the Y or wherever, but you're just going on from one machine to the next. They didn't have the specialized training to deal with oftentimes arthritis, spinal stenosis, hip replacements, joint replacements, all the things we were doing, and seeing that population oftentimes experiences. And even if they're completely don't have those issues, the body has changed physiologically. And to train the same way that you do in your 20s and 30s, people were getting injured. They were coming to us from other places where they'd gotten hurt. And so we really started to realize that we were onto a niche, and so we really went for it. And it's called RENU Fitness Over 40. So we do near and over 40. So if someone's 38 years old, they can come.
Right.
On one of our windows in Raleigh, it says, under 40, don't worry, we don't ID.
Right.
So it's a place for everyone, but we specialize in 40 and over. And it's a place that they feel comfortable as well, where they're not having to walk into a gym and you got, buff 20-year-old, 30-year-old for that matter. Right. And we have the specialized training to work with that population and keep them safe, but also not to kid glove them. And there's two things that happen with that population, is that either they go, okay, well, you're 60, so you should take it easy and we don't want to hurt you, and they kid glove, or they work out the way they train themselves or their other clients and they end up getting injured and hurt.
Right.
So we kind of look at what the individual has capacity for. We deal with posture, their corrective exercises and things, and we don't want to put fitness on top of dysfunction. So we work on cleaning that up, and then we use the capacity they have, and as they get better and stronger, then we keep progressing and adapt with them.
I love that. And so you started that in Nashville.
Yep.
Now you have a second location in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yep.
Carried on. Right now you're having to go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah. No, we got a great person in Nashville now, so she's kind of running that for us. And then I just recently moved to Raleigh, so we've been there about a year, and we were very fortunate to be able to get a second facility, and so we're doing that now. Yeah. So the goal is to eventually try to expand this and have a place that's but for the baby boomers, it's a large population.
Yeah.
And you either have, again, like your traditional gyms or silver sneakers, but this is something that really challenges them at their appropriate levels. We do it in small groups, 6 and up to 12. We cap that, so there's never more than 12 people, and it's a great camaraderie, and they get a great challenge for what they need themselves. It's modified to their fitness level and their injury history, and that's something that's difficult to do, especially in a small group. So it's much more affordable for them. So people who are often on fixed incomes, we can share that cost, but still adapt and modify the program for the individual.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Let's round out this conversation with your philosophy, because that is something that, as I heard you today, I'm like, wow, that's really cool and very meaningful. And your philosophy centers around tying fitness into something greater.
Yeah.
Can you expound upon that?
Sure. A couple of things we see with the population that we serve is we're letting them take back their life in a sense. People that were checking out, not doing things that they once enjoyed. Many times they saved for years during their working years and had these wonderful plans to travel and these great adventures, but then the body doesn't hold up and doesn't allow them to do that. So then to work with this population and see them be able to go and travel and hike and see the world or play with their grandkids and not let their body hold them back. So for us, we don't believe the goal is to be the aesthetics. For us, the aesthetics are ancillary. They always happen. But when they're the goal, what happens? You go 30 days in, 2 months in, and you go, well, nothing's really happening, and they give up and quit. When the goal is, do you have less pain? Do you feel better leaving the facility than when you come in? And so when that's the focus, and we focus on how they feel and improve their quality of life, they stick with it, and the weight loss goals and all that other type of stuff happens as well.
Yeah, and on that point, as far as the aesthetics, and if it's all about outward appearance, not only do people quit quickly if they feel like the results aren't coming as soon, I also found that if they're so focused on the outward appearance that it's never enough.
No, it's not. No.
So it just keeps. It's like you're feeding the monster.
Well, what's funny is you'll work with someone oftentimes, and they'll get some great results, and then they're not happy where they are. But I've had it where like something happens and they're gone for a while, and they're back further over here, and they just want to get back to where they were.
Right,
and it's like, well, you weren't happy where you were back then.
Perspective.
Yeah, and so again, it's just understanding that if you can't be happy, one of the things we do when I talk sometimes is say, I'll have everyone stand up and say, do you realize what you just did? How many millions of people around the world would give anything to do what you just did, to have that autonomy, to be able to get up out of the hospital bed, to get up out of a wheelchair, to go walk with your spouse or play with your kids. And we have been so driven to focus at the utility and beauty that others derive from our appearance as the value of our worth.
Right.
Versus saying, God, you've incredibly blessed me with the capacity to move and have autonomy. Thank you for that.
Right.
And then to use that and exercise and engage in movement and play because you can and do things you enjoy versus viewing exercise as something punitive I have to do because I'm overweight or I have to conform to the culture.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for sharing this wisdom, these insights, your time. If somebody wanted to find out a little bit more about RENU Health and Fitness, how can they do that?
Our website's renuhealthandfitness.com.
And RENU is RENU.
Yep. Stands for Restore, Empower, Nurture, Unleash.
Right on.
Yeah.
Dino Nowak.
Yep.
With president and founder of RENU Fitness. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Guys, I hope you found that helpful. Until next time, dream big, pray bold, trust God.